President Trump is pitching regional stability and global investment during his trip to Saudi Arabia, the first foreign policy visit of his second term. It's part of a 4-day swing through the Middle East. The president also plans to visit the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. Notably, a trip to Israel, now in 19 months of conflict with Hamas militants, is not on his schedule. While speaking at an investment conference in the Saudi capital Tuesday, President Trump pushed for an end to the war in Gaza.
The people of Gaza deserve a much better future, but that will or can not occur as long as their leaders choose to kidnap, torture, and target innocent men, women, and children for political ends. The way those people are treated in Gaza, there's not a place in the world where people are treated so badly. It's horrible.
Ambassador Daniel Shapiro joins us now. He served as the U.S. ambassador to Israel during the Obama administration. He's also a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. Thank you so much for being here. What do you make of the fact that President Trump is not visiting Israel as part of this trip?
President Trump is treating Israel just about like every other country. He's impatient for progress. He knows what he wants to do, and you can either come along or he's going to move on without you. Things are kind of stuck right now in Israel because of the Gaza war, and they can't seem to get a ceasefire. And so he wouldn't make a lot of he wouldn't get a lot of wins out of going to Israel. So he's stuck to the Gulf. He's very attracted to the glitz and the glamour and the money of the Gulf states. Israel's a close partner, but it's kind of a scaled back ally. It doesn't have the money to make $600 billion of investments in the United States that the Saudis announced today, or give a luxury 747 airliner as the Qataris plan to do. You know, many Israelis I talk to are feeling a bit uncomfortable that President Trump is making a lot of decisions that affect their security without close consultation with their government. He reached a ceasefire with the Houthis in Yemen, even though they keep firing missiles at Israel. He's doing nuclear negotiations with Iran, and they're a bit nervous about the direction of those. And of course, he negotiated very good news, the release of Edon Alexander, an American-Israeli hostage, but they weren't really kept in the loop on that. So Israelis generally like President Trump, but his approach in the second term is making them a bit nervous.
And Trump administration officials are proposing a plan to resume the flow of aid into Gaza, but only in specific areas controlled by the Israeli military. President Trump spoke about this plan last week. Let's listen.
We're going to help the people of Gaza get some food. People are starving, and we're going to help them get some food. A lot of people are making it very, very bad. If you look, Hamas is making it impossible because they're taking everything that's brought in. But we're going to help the people of Gaza.
Details still need to be worked out, like who would pay for it, who would actually distribute the aid. But what's your reaction? Does it sound feasible?
That aid plan is still a work in progress. There's a very profound need to get aid into the people, the civilians of Gaza who desperately need it, and also to keep it out of the hands of Hamas, which for months has stolen the aid and then used it to perpetuate its political power. The idea is to bring Palestinian civilians to a humanitarian zone in southern Gaza. You can let the Israeli military, the IDF, create a security envelope, and then have private contractors deliver the aid to the civilians. But the humanitarian organizations that you would need to cooperate with that, they're asking a lot of questions. Is there going to be enough food? How will health care and water and other services be provided to the civilians that come there? And the Arab states who will need to fund it, the very ones President Trump is visiting, they haven't committed yet to write those checks because they still have questions as well. So this is still very much a work in progress. I assume it's being discussed along the way as he travels this week.
The president also announced he is lifting all sanctions on Syria. This comes about 5 months after the fall of former dictator Bashar al-Assad. What's your reaction there?
Sanctions relief for Syria is a gamble, but it's the right to gamble. The collapse of the Assad regime has really given Syrians, for the first time in many, many years, an opportunity to build a better future. Now, it has to be done carefully. We can't be certain that the new leadership of Syria has the best intentions. We have to judge their actions. But so far, they have acted responsibly. They've tried to be inclusive. They've tried to avoid causing threats to Israel or to other neighbors. They've tried to align themselves with U.S. partners like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. So, but the problem is if they don't have the resources to restore services, to resettle refugees, to rebuild a country that's been largely destroyed, it's going to create an economic crisis. And that chaos is a feeding ground for extremism. So that's why this is the right step. It's a gamble, but Congress can work with the president to set up the relief in such a way that, if necessary, those sanctions could be restored.
Ambassador Daniel Shapiro, thank you.